I've never used GPS. I use my orienteering skills. I've always enjoyed walking in the mountains. The swish, swish, swish sound of the lovely powdery stuff that is fluffy and moves easily and nice. It's pleasant to walk through. The first hour or two is the careful measuring, plodding along and plotting. 25. Drawing up the lines is a somewhat careful process because it's so easy to make a mistake. Okay. It takes about 12 hours. The idea normally is to try and get it done in one session. So it is about the same as running a marathon, I would think. I mean, of course, it depends how fast you run the marathon. At an age when most people are thinking of retiring, I feel I'm just starting. I think my life has been largely wasted trying to do the wrong thing, trying to be good at the wrong things, and trying to be good at too many things when I was young. When I did my first drawing, I was very, very surprised. Such a simple process, just walking around in the snow, could produce such an impressive result.
The plan is to traverse the Coast Mountains of British Columbia and Alaska. It's myself and my mom.
It will be nice to do it in 5 months. I think it will take 6 months. We figure we actually will have to cover terrain about 2,300 kilometers. So we'll be ski traversing the coastal mountains. I'm so honored that she wants to do it with me. She called me and she says, "Oh, I've been thinking, I just came up with this idea. I don't know if you think you would do it with me." She was very careful about how it didn't pop out right away. And then she says, "Would you do the coastal traverse with me?" And silence, and I was like, yes. It's like, yeah, that'll be so cool. I'll be 60. Yeah, let's do it. That'll be my birthday present.
My mom is super hardcore, but she's also very humble. I think she's aware of her capabilities and her limitations, and she doesn't really care what people think of her, I guess, in a way. She'll be the first to talk about her fears of water and heights.
So I'm afraid of being submerged in water. I do not like that. My head underwater is not acceptable. Do not use in high winds, rapid currents, or dangerous tides. Follow these safety rules to avoid drowning. For the big rivers, we will be using just a little children's raft. We will use avalanche shovel for paddles. Those will be big rivers, they'll be cold. I'm not headlessly going. I will make sure we're crossing somewhere where it's as safe as possible.
She's been dehydrating and planning out 6 months worth of food.
We need at least 5,500 calories a day. And protein and fat has to be a big part of it.
For me, it's hard enough to just plan out what I'm gonna have for dinner, but to plan out 180 dinners and lunches and breakfasts and snacks, it's huge.
Those are, I did those last year. I didn't catch them this year. I started dehydrating the food about a year ago in September. This is probably 1/3 of the pile for the 6 months. I don't have a lot of money, right? I have time.
We have to carry everything that we need with us. We're gonna try and get resupplies every 5 to 10 days. So that means that we have to carry all of our food in between that, stove, fuel, extra clothes, glacier gear, because there's going to be crevasses. We need to be prepared for that.
We will be sleeping in a 2-person, 1-wall tent, and we will have down sleeping bags.
All right, let's eat. There's 2 mamas in there.
Yeah. Yeah. There'll be a lot of room for my thermos and hot water bottle in there. First 2 months will be a little bit difficult with hygiene. You know, do you really want to wash your underwear in a cold creek in February? I'm thinking probably not. So with our food drops, we might have spare pair of socks and underwear and like base layer, because it might be crusty by the time we get to that food drop. The thing I will be missing the most when I'm out there will be my little avalanche dog. His name is Summit. And I've been training dogs for the last probably 15 years, so he's my 3rd dog. He's the best, and I will miss him a lot.
Yeah, probably a hiking trail.
So there's this way. I don't know. It started snowing, and hopefully it will snow a lot before we start and not too much while we are out there. But this winter is supposed to be pretty stormy.
When I'm on a climb, colors become more vibrant, my hearing becomes more acute. I just sense the structure of the ice and the snow. I like to think of the analogy, you see a wolf loping through the forest. You know that that wolf is aware of everything around him. you get into that awareness. We're drawn absolutely into the present. We spend a lot of our time so removed from our body and everything that it can provide. And it's nice to be the wolf for a bit. I think I was called to mountain climbing just looking to the western horizon, growing up in Calgary and seeing the mountains on the horizon. I was riding a Greyhound bus back from visiting my grandmother to getting picked up by Mom. I was 9 years old. There was a gal on the bus who was in her 20s. She took time to read me passages and show me pictures of one of the really great classic books on alpinism called The White Spider. 4 guys coming together on the north face of the Eiger and bonding in partnership, using the rope to get up a wall that no one else had climbed to that point. Here was pictures of men doing their best and trying to help each other to get up this wall. You know, Kasperic spending the night in an uncomfortable position supporting Vorg's back so Vorg could get sleep. I just hadn't seen that much sacrifice and support in most of the males that were in my life. And here were some guys doing heroic things. And that resonated in my bloodstream. All boys want to be heroes. And here were men being heroes. It was like, okay, this is something that I want to experience in my life. I want to be a mountain climber, even though I didn't know much more about it at that time than just to say the word. I really didn't know what was involved in being a mountain climber. But I started paying attention to it and seeking it out. My family is Métis. We're half Indian and half Scots and French. I've experienced prejudice in my life because of my heritage. You know, I'm a brown-eyed, brown-skinned, Chug native, Niche. As a young guy, kind of labored under that. Trying to be good enough in the white world. What's interesting about climbing culture is it's largely tribal. That sense of tribe, which isn't really super strong in Métis culture because our religion is Roman Catholicism, but the sense of tribe is really powerful, experiencing it in the climbing community. I don't want to call mountains an addiction. I think I'd rather call them a return, I don't know, a wellspring or a fountainhead. A mountain will lift you physically, intellectually, and spiritually. The moments of awe, and I'll even use the word grace, that you can experience up there, they soothe your soul, they rock your soul. A lot of people refer to their mountaineering as going to church. I'm not interested in dying. I'm up there because I want to live. I personally think that the human body was designed to be used really hard for 2 or 3 days at a time, maybe as much as a week, and then to be rested. And I think we're built for it. Looking at my buddies that I climb with, I see some of them come up with things that they wouldn't be able to do at sea level. They become heroes. And I don't think I'll ever fatigue of seeing human beings accomplish the heroic. I think that's really beautiful.
It's actually not that bad, even with everything in it.
There's no way that we can do this trip and not change. You know, it'll change who we are as people, and I think it'll change us for the better. I'm excited to see what I learn about myself and what we learn about each other. And I'm excited to do this trip with my mom.
No more logistics, no more planning. All I have to do is walk and ski. We believe that we can pull it off, but there's so many unknowns. So many things can go wrong.
Facing a whole winter out there 24/7, through all the storms. So much of it is out of our control.
What happened to the last of our water? We should use it before it freezes.
We are trying to have as many food drops as possible, hopefully once a week. Please work for me. I'm sure that we will maybe lose one drop. That's my fear. That we'll be short on food.
You should eat. It's getting cold fast. Yummy good. Mind you, everything tastes yummy when you're out here.
I know for sure that there's risks out there. I've been on search and rescue for a number of years. I've dug out bodies from avalanches. My good friend, Todd Westlake, was caught in an avalanche. He was buried 2 meters deep.
The day of the avalanche, we got the phone call from Todd saying, let's go out to Mount Proctor. I was out there 2 days ago. The conditions were great.
In the morning, myself, Todd, Janina headed out to Cold Feet Bowl. Snowmobiled in, put on our climbing skins and started heading up the ridge.
We're heading out with Todd. He's one of our friends. He's a photographer and we worked with him quite a bit, Ian and I, so we were like, let's go out and take some epic photos. It was going to be a powder day. We skinned up the ridge to the top and we thought, all right, this is the place where we're gonna go. Let's get some photos.
The last photos Todd took, I ended up skiing by him.
Ian was in front and he cut across.
And I created a small avalanche and alerted the group.
We need to get off this face. We weren't really expecting that.
We went into larger trees where we thought it would be more supported.
Todd went first.
And there was a settlement. It's when a weak layer in the snowpack fails and you actually drop and you can feel it collapse.
Suddenly I just was on my side, holding onto the tree, and I looked down at Ian and there was this huge wave of snow. It seemed to me like whitewater, a huge wave. And I was just like,
Waves of snow underneath me, pulling at the tails of my skis. I thought they were gonna rip my skis off.
I heard Todd just one scream and then it stopped and everything went silent. Ian, Todd's been caught in an avalanche. He's caught. And I remember Ian just freaking out, going, no, he's right below me. No, he's caught in the avalanche.
My first thought was that we need to switch our beacons to search mode and go find him.
You know, we've trained for this, which is crazy because we just did an avalanche course literally a week before.
Janina was ahead of me with a beacon, and as soon as she received a signal, and she started counting down numbers.
I had my transceiver out, looking. The lowest signal I got on my beacon was 4.7 meters. Oh my gosh, he's buried deep.
We didn't have a lot of time at all.
And yeah, the first two probes I did, I was actually in the wrong spot. And Ian was like, Janina, we need to step a meter over. I'm getting a lower reading. Fuck, we've just wasted time. Then I took one step and I got a reading of 4.2 meters. Okay, this is actually a low reading. Started probing again. I did one in. Nothing out. Probed again. Clonk. And it was just like...
Janina struck him on the second probe strike.
Ian, I have him. You effing better have him, and check again. And I was like, oh, again, clonk.
She was certain that it was, in fact, Todd.
I remember him saying, we are not taking home Todd dead. We're finding him alive. We started digging immediately.
The digging was crucial. We knew we had to get to his head as fast as possible. I was frantic. I dug as fast as I could. We were fairly certain it was Todd, but I didn't know. Digging, I'm digging, trying to get to the end of this probe.
We could see a silver mark. Oh my gosh, it's his bindings. Shit, we still need to get to his head. As we got closer, it was actually his helmet.
Oh my God, it's Todd. Like, we got him, we found him.
We managed to just get all the snow around his head out, and he was bright blue.
He was unconscious.
Getting snow out of his mouth, like sticking his fingers in his mouth, and he was just had snow everywhere, up his nostrils.
And I felt very shallow breathing on the back of my hand.
I have no idea if I died during that time or what happened. Is about 20 minutes of not breathing, being encased in ice. I heard them yelling avalanche. So I just grabbed on to the tree that was in front of me. The wind blast from it knocked me onto my back. And I remember the snow slowing down and I could still see light, and I was like, I'm on top. And at that point, all the snow that was above me caught up, and it just hit me like a train. It really pushed me into the snow, and I just remember the feeling of just getting pushed deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then it stopped. Dead quiet. and black. I couldn't move my fingers. I couldn't even expand my lungs. Minute of panic. I'm way too deep. There's no way that they'll ever find me here. I'm dead. That's when I passed out. After they got to me, when I regained consciousness, it was like coming out of the best dreams that you've ever had when you're in the deepest sleep, and then all of a sudden someone just like comes over and shakes you hard. And I just remember thinking like, no, I just want to keep sleeping. Why are you waking me up from this? It was just the most calming, peaceful sleep. It was like a utopia.
He had his camera on his chest.
And a puffy coat on, and I remember pulling the camera off and just seeing his puffer start to expand again. I guess he was just so compressed in there that his lungs had no air, and he could see his lungs start to breathe.
He came to and he was just screaming, like, my toes, I can't feel my toes. And we're like, who cares about your toes? You're alive.
And then he told us to take pictures.
Take photos. And he was, take photos, and we're like, Todd, chill out. We're taking photos, we're getting you out first.
I knew that I'd damaged my back. I could feel the pain in my lower body. At that point, as I was waking up, I puked, I shit myself, I pissed myself.
Everything had left his system. He was like this close, and he just kept going, I pooed my pants. We don't care, like, you're alive, we got you out.
Just after they finished getting me out of the hole, I remember knowing that the hazard was still very real. It was getting dark. If we would have called for help, there's nothing they could have done at that time.
30 to 35 minutes of snowmobiling out of Forest Service Road, and then a 20-minute drive to get Todd to a hospital.
We didn't even get the snowmobile back on the truck. We just left it out there, jumped in the car and drove. And we were just sitting in the car going, what just happened?
They lied me down in the bed, put heated blankets around me just to get my core temperature up. Took some x-rays, and that's where I discovered that I had compressed my spine. Based on the depth I was at, of approximately 2 meters, the odds of surviving something like that is around 18% or slightly less. Everything just kind of lined up perfectly for me to be able to survive. The days after the avalanche, when I was at home, it just wouldn't stop snowing. It was just the perfect storm. I was scared to go back out, but I knew I had to. If I didn't go back soon, I might not do it again. So I chose to go back to work 4 days after it happened. Getting into the mountains still and sharing my passion through photography with people who don't have the same opportunities to get places means a lot to me.
Might have actually been this tree. Janina and I both took an avalanche course together. I believe that that information was invaluable to the success we had that day, getting Todd out safely.
I will not go into the backcountry now with anyone that hasn't done an avalanche course, ever. It's not worth losing a life over.
I got my private pilot's license last year. The feeling of flying in the mountains is pretty much unbeatable. And now I'm able to go out and help Martina and Tanya drop their food for this trip they're doing. Victor, we're just about to do a run-up. Want to climb it at 80?
Yeah, let's do that. Keep it about 80.
Some of the drops were as high as about 800 feet. I hope the boxes hold together.
That pass right there, that there, works like, yeah. You will be fairly close to terrain up there.
What they've chosen to do is further than walking from Canada to Mexico, only it's over some of the most rugged, remote terrain in North America.
Do it right there. Yeah. Go for it, crack it open. Five, 4, 3, 2, box away.
Being out there for 6 months in the mountains, I would not do this trip.
It's a munchkin! Look at the munchkin! Oh my god! And oh, look, he's holding the avalanche forecast. Aww. Sushi. Control your tempura. Yeah.
And what's oh, that's fuel.
That one's fuel.
Oh, I was hoping that was vodka.
Oh. That was a good 12 hours sleep.
Sleep all day, but I feel better now.
Well, I'm not doing to impress someone, right? I'm doing it for the two of us. When people ask me, did you do this trip or that trip? And I would think, it's like, oh, maybe when I'm old, you know, maybe when I'm old, I'll do Churchill River, or when I'm old, I'll do. And then I get these odd looks. And then I realize, oh, they think I'm old now. Like, I don't feel old, right? I feel I can do this. And when I'm old, that means when I'm not capable of sleeping in winter somewhere out in a tent. I think people make themselves old way too early. They accept they're old because something hurts. They stop exercising, and I think once you stop exercising, then you're getting old. You're just going that much faster to your grave. So I'm fighting it. It doesn't have to be outside, whatever you like doing. Just don't think you're too old to do it, because most of the time you're not.
Snow scared me the first year. And then Sister Claire encouraged me to really push myself and go and touch it and feel it. And I did. It's like flowers. In the city, there's all kinds of siren and this happening, but here, the only thing we hear are the birds.
Silence is really an endangered species in the world today. We're not here to convert people. They can be of any religious tradition. They can come to experience this.
Our main way of preaching as Dominican nuns is not going out to stand in the middle of the street or in the church, in the pulpit and preach. We preach by our way of life.
It's all about centering. It takes such concentration that it centers your whole being down. At the still point of the turning world, there the dance is. Were no still point, there would be no dance. So I feel like I'm in tune with the whole cosmos, actually.
I was born on the prairies, not in the mountains. Our house had a hill, and I spent my childhood going up and down that hill on skis. And my parents were alpine ski instructors. We spent a lot of time in the mountains skiing. By the time I was 14, I was on the Canadian ski team as a junior cross-country ski racer. I think the most essential part of my cross-country skiing wasn't the competitive aspect. It was the community with the other skiers. It was a highly structured lifestyle of training and time of solitude. It was really formative for me. We weren't even Catholic, our family. I did have this interior, kind of secret spiritual quest that was awakened in the outdoors. It became my center of gravity. The mountains really have changed my prayer. In the Tantalus, you can see this changing of light and then changing of the snow. You're never tired.
It's just prayer made real.
It's become apparent that it's the coldest winter in about 20 years.
So, what's for dinner tonight? Oh, another 3-course meal. Gotta lighten those. I don't know.
We just did not expect minus 20 temperatures for weeks in a row. It has been hard, really hard, to stay away from hypothermia. We are dealing with it, but it's making us much slower.
With the cold come the consequences of things like our stove breaking. And when the stove breaks, we can't make water, we can't cook.
Have some iced tea.
All right. Tomorrow night, minus 25. Woohoo!
Oh, again?
Again. Big surprise. Wind's dying Monday, so that's 2 days from now.
Yeah.
Mainly sunny, temperature rising to minus 10.
Yeah, it's gonna be warm.
I wasn't expecting to have to deal with so much hazard every single day. You know, I knew for sure that it was going to be a dangerous trip, but a constant assessment of, is this too risky? Should we try and find a different way? Should we back off? Do we keep going? It feels like we're not getting anywhere. Mom is literally carrying half of her body weight out here.
Walking through Alder, it's like going through a field of angry octopus. Oh, here we go. Used to be a logging road. Now it's a creek. We don't know what to do, so we're climbing a cliff. I don't hear any swearing yet.
Letting go. Oh, see the tree. Please don't let me go for a swim.
We're moving in teaspoon distances. It's making me doubt our chances of finishing.
The Arctic outflow is coming and it's gonna be really cold again. I am almost looking forward to it because this wetness is my nightmare. I don't like being wet.
We're stuck on the Goddard Glacier and we can't find the food. We've put Bluetooth beacons in each of the food drops, but we can't get a signal here. Mom just made the last of the hot chocolate. We really have pretty much nothing left now, just a few crumbs. We keep having the same dreams out here. Dreams about food. I'll be in a grocery store. I walk down the aisles and fill up my cart. When I go to check out, the food will suddenly disappear. I never get to eat the food.
Crevasses and every little rock for flowers.
After 2 full days of searching, we had to give up. Our next food drop was about 6 days away. So Todd had to organize a helicopter to come in. We were super remote. It cost about $4,000 to get a few boxes of junk food flown in at that point.
We got food! What
Oh, those were the most expensive potato chips I think anyone's ever eaten.
Cheese! Cheese! Yes.
Mom has gone through so many difficult things in her life. These are just little things, and she knows that it'll pass. My mom was born in the Czech Republic in a small town called Teplice. It was under Russian occupation and communist rule.
I felt like I was living in a police state. I did not want to raise kids in the physical and mental environment I was living in.
You couldn't leave the Czech Republic, so they had to escape across the mountains on foot. They had to leave everything behind, all of their possessions other than what they could carry on their backs. They had homemade down jackets and sleeping bags. It was early spring, so they were post-holing through snow, and it was wet and cold. They picked the worst border crossing. This narrow canyon with a road and a river down below. They had to walk through the river. If the border guards had ever just looked down, they would have been caught. My mom is pregnant with my sister. They're soaked.
The only dry thing I had on me was a toque, because I fell in the current.
She took off her toque and put it over her belly to try and warm up her belly. Oh, baby, stay warm.
We made it to Switzerland. We lived there for about 4 years. And just the idea that we could be sent back home anytime was not acceptable to me. We applied for Canada, and Canada accepted us. When I was like 10 years old, I was reading books about Canada, and it was my dream to see the nature here. And here I am. I think my whole life I was just steering towards this place. My friends ask me, why am I doing something like this? Why would I go through a hardship like this? I keep telling them, well, you see things you normally would not see, and sometimes you just pretty much trip over them. One day we just walked by an ice cave at the bottom of an ice field. It was such a magical place. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that. Ages-old ice. It was so beautiful. Just like without ugliness there would be no beauty, or without night there would be no day, then without suffering there is no joy. And I think the harder I have to work for something I want to experience, something beautiful, the bigger the joy, or I don't know how to better describe it. When the helicopter came and he quite blatantly asked if we wanted a ride out of there, Martina stopped in her truck and I could see she was really tempted to just take a break. And she just wanted to keep going. I'm really proud of her. She has never done anything this hard before.
There's definitely a chance that we'll fail. We still have months to go.
I'm not a city person. I had to move out here because the only time I felt I had my heart in my chest is when I was up in the mountains. I feel at home.
Bernhard is his German pronunciation, and Bern is bear, and Hart is heart. He's bare-hearted. When Bernard walked me around this property, when he proposed that I might want to live with him, I knew right then and there he would never move from here.
Your feet will follow your heart. Otherwise, you're not free.
We're on the northmost tip of the Cascade Mountain Range. We're at about a 2,400-foot altitude here. We've lived off the grid for almost 50 years. The steepness of these mountains is really abrupt and severe, and it takes a lot of getting used to, and it didn't happen overnight that I felt at home, shall we say.
I have no idea which one is supposed to be clean. They're all clean. I know you all washed them.
They're all clean, but they're all dirty.
Yeah, you know what?
I came from an area that was hill and dale and ravines, and I would go home in a flash if Bernard would kick the bucket on me because my family's there.
That's the issue here, nothing else.
But you and I live beyond Ananda.
That doesn't.
By the time I met him, he was fresh out of art school.
once I started touching rock, it's like, you know, the first time a duck becomes aware it floats, you can't get him out of the water. That's what happened to me. I love working with rock. I can bake 8 loaves of bread in here, large loaves of bread.
This is the first fort he ever built, because every boy wants to build a fort. And he finally got to when he was 20-something. And he's been working on it ever since.
Oh, I just love the idea of taking what is wasted otherwise and make something with it.
He's a pretty versatile guy. In the winter, Bernard paints, but for a number of years, he was mostly doing woodwork and carving.
In the winter, you can't go anywhere. There's no road, no train. The winter allows me to take what I've harvested from my year and place it within the concept of my art. That is something that I credit the mountains for. I am allowed the time and the season to grow. If I didn't go out and explore in the summer, what would I paint about in the winter?
It's what makes something brilliant. Is when opposites stand next to each other as equals. Life comes from the yin and the yang having a thing.
When I met Bernard, he had 2 young boys, aged 3 and 6, and their mother lived in the city, but they came here every other year. We homeschooled them. I'd worked from dawn till dusk, and I'm glad I did, because then now you can look back on it and think, oh my goodness, I did that.
I'm going to give the peas a watering because I didn't do that earlier.
Mm-hmm. Bernard and I are actually better gardening far from each other because we don't agree on how to do it. I have been in the garden and been surrounded by bears, and I think they recognize that I'm making my food and they're eating their favorite food, so we can coexist. When I first started out here as a younger person, I knew that where we were living, if there was something like a stroke or a heart attack or something really serious where you cut an artery, you'd be dead. There just would not be the help that would be available quickly, and especially not without a phone. The older we get, the more perhaps questionable it is. I don't worry about it. That's just what you live with.
It takes me about minimum 6 hours, 8 hours to get up to my cabin. I'm getting long in the tooth, as they say in horse language. It's my backyard. When I first come up here, I lost my heart here. I consider myself so fortunate to have had the opportunity to live a life that way extended past any of my expectations. I never expected I'd last my horses. And now I don't hunt anymore. I wouldn't be able to fire a shot at anything. Only to save maybe a life, not to take one. Letting a bicycle or a motorbike out into the backcountry where sanctity is in place, that's letting a wolf into a pen. I let the trails deteriorate, pulled dead trees into the trail.
I'm looking forward to sushi.
I can't wait for the all-you-can-eat sushi.
All you can eat sushi. Oh my God,
Sushi-
I'll be bursting. I think they will lose some money on us. Shower whenever we want to shower.
Showers.
And toilet. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more freeze-dried fruit.
No more. Conversations with other people.
Yeah, how about that?
We've arrived at the Dean River, and the water is black and fast and cold. Mom is stripped down to her ski boots and underwear so she can keep her other clothes dry. She's got this. She's got this. Come on, Mama. It literally took us all day to get across. Dark was setting in and it was pouring rain. There she burns. The Mean Dean River.
I don't want to see that river in my life anymore.
Never again.
Ever.
The glaciers are clearly retreating out there. Our original route plan is just not feasible anymore.
This is really making me nervous to see all these open crevasses so high up.
It was kilometers of bare ice and rock, and then it just suddenly ended.
The map is showing 3 more kilometers of the glacier, which is not there anymore.
All your baskets are caught.
Oh, so my pelvis is screaming at me right now.
You're dying.
No, I'm not dying.
Oh, your feet stink. That's in a sleeping bag. Those clean socks. Oh God, I can't even.
This 3-day storm had kept us tent bound, and then it finally cleared up, and we ski toured up to this high ridge. Mom was a little bit ahead of me, and as I reached her, I saw that she was crying, and she told me it was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen in her life.
Something I'll never forget for sure. I think it's time to be done. 6 months is a long time.
I think our relationship is stronger. I understand her past and where she came from a lot better, and I think she understands me a little bit better too.
I'm ready for summer. We're still talking to each other. We respect each other even more after this.
I can't believe tomorrow is our last day.
Forecast for tomorrow, of course, is rain, so it could never be easy for us.
Careful up there, you're 60, you know. For me, what's impossible and what I'm capable of definitely got redefined.
What in the Berkshire?
I found that when I thought I'd reached my threshold and that I couldn't go any further, I actually could.
I think she did not have any idea what she was into when she started thinking about this trip.
When I was a kid, I was that uncoordinated, asthmatic, skinny child that just struggled to pass gym class.
I knew she could do it, but she had to figure it out on her own.
Oh my God. Nobody died. Yes. Where did we just come from?
We came. Where did we come from?
Where did we come from? We came from Vancouver. Oh.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be 50 days or 100 days. Even if you spend just a week in the mountains or some kind of a trip where you're taken out of your normal life. It just teaches you about appreciation.
Since I found them, I've been held and surrounded. A soul that knows when it's grounded. I live within the free, you know. As Songs they change with the season. Cosmic dance fixed by reason. Storm world needs